go. Fire me up.
It's up to you, New York, New York.
All right. How we doing? Welcome back to another episode of the Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast here on YouTube. I am your host, Richie, here with my guy, my brother from another mother, via upstate New York, currently Winter Haven, Florida, Brett, Touchdown Bandic. Welcome to the show. Welcome back. It's the 2026 AFC East Preview. And he is our resident Patriot fan. That is a huge reason why he is here tonight. And we're going to get into the deets, but before we do, got to speak on the history of the division. This division houses the New England Patriots, who are tied for the all-time most Lombardi Trophy wins, Super Bowl wins, with 6, tied with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Last year, adding another Super Bowl appearance to their ledger, they have the most Super Bowl appearances of any and all NFL teams. We have a Buffalo Bills team who has a dubious distinction and also a great achievement. They are the only team to make 4 consecutive Super Bowls: 90, 91, 92, 93. They are also the only team to lose 4 Super Bowls in a row: 90, 91, 92, 93. God bless you, Marv Levy. I hope you see one while you're still here on planet Earth. We've got the Miami Dolphins. What is their stake to claim outside of winning a fictitious Super Bowl in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, where Jim Carrey assaulted the Eagles mascot, which is one of the greatest moments in film history?
He bounced on him.
It was great. All right. At any rate, 2-time Super Bowl champion Miami Dolphins. They haven't won since the 70s. But, of course, the 72 Dolphins were famous for being the only team in NFL history to finish a regular and postseason undefeated. The New England Patriots were not able to do that. Moving on to the New York Jets. I'm not going to say who they lost to. It's not about us today. Moving it on to the New York Jets. Their claim to fame, ushering in what we really know as the Super Bowl era. The Green Bay Packers ended the end of the pre-merger days, winning on top, and of course jumping in and winning the original 2 Super Bowls. But when it became the spectacle that it was known to be, it was when the 68-69 Jets defeated the Baltimore Colts 16-7. And the craziest thing in New York, we recently saw the Knicks win the NBA World Title, and it's in that territory of how long it's been. It is just oppressive for Jet fans, as it has been that long since they have hoisted the Lombardi. So only the Buffalo Bills in this division have not won a Super Bowl, although they are a very successful team in this division, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. Jim Kelly era, the Kagan offense, Marv Levy deploying some great defenses led by Bruce Smith, top 5 all-time edge rusher. You had Darryl Talley on that team, Cornelius Bennett on that team. These were great, great teams. The bend but don't break defense. But man, could those guys score? And now you got Josh Allen, perennial MVP candidate and winner. That's a big story going into this season. Will the coaching change get the Bills to the top? Will the addition of DJ Moore get the Bills to the top? Did they do enough on defense? They are always so close. I would have to say that I'll start with that. We're going to ask some general questions, and then we'll go into the deets of each team. Brett, is the window closing on Josh Allen, or will the addition of DJ Moore bring that first elusive Lombardi? Of course, it takes a lot more than one great receiver, but I do think it's going to be a nice pairing.
It is gonna be a nice pairing, but let me back this up a little bit because Rich, I haven't been on the show in a long time. I miss you guys, and that intro fired me up. It was like a '90s Bulls intro, kind of going into it. I was fired up. I was ready. Now you're throwing all the stuff at me. You're bringing all this old stuff back. You know, I want to hit on a couple things. You mentioned the '90s Bills team. Um, the Bruce Smith, Cornelius Bennett's. The K gun offense. That was their time to win it. And I think their best time to win it was against your boys. Was against the Giants, 1990. That was their best shot to win it. That not only did they have the best offense, they have the best defense. But the game plan, I mean, Bill Parcells pulled it out. I mean, it is what it is. It's history. It's in the books. My second part of that is Cornelius Bennett, Bruce Smith, all those guys. They are legit friends with a friend of our show, Mr. William Floyd. Um, Hopefully, we can get in touch with those guys, bring them on the show. But William is definitely in contact with those guys, and I would love to get them on the show as we speak right now.
And I'm going to piggyback you 1 second as you mentioned William Floyd, because yesterday I was watching a YouTube video with Deion Sanders and Jerry Rice against each other as opponents.
Yeah.
Now, of course, William, as a member, guest of the show coming in, talked about as a rookie in the NFL, he just won an NCAA title with the Florida State Seminoles. Now he's in position to win a Super Bowl with the Niners. His rookie year, 1994 it is. They ultimately win the Super Bowl. Dallas had a dynasty, but that was the 49ers year in between the Dallas dynasty. They got that victory.
Yep.
And he spoke about how Deion Sanders and Jerry Rice brought it every day in practice. And I had mentioned on this YouTube video that we had William on the show to really illustrate, like, he used the phrase iron sharpening iron.
Yep.
And yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool to get some stories. When I spoke to Barnum on the phone, when you first told me that he wanted to be on the show, he was talking about just what it was like being a visitor and staying a weekend in Lambeau, like around that area. And he says, bro, those people are cool. They're all about handing you a beer and a brat. They don't, even if you're the enemy, they're still really cool. That's on my bucket list, especially with my late father being a diehard Packer fan. But a guy like William, what I loved about having him as a guest was that he really broke down what it was like in the 90s and two of the greatest players, arguably, well, not arguably in Rice's case. He is the greatest wide receiver that ever lived. Deion Sanders, what's the knock on him? Okay, the tackling. But to be honest,
tackling. Yeah.
When you're shutting down everybody, and even from time to time shutting down Jerry Rice, you don't really got to worry about tackling too many people when you can shut down half a field. It's incredible. I say Jerry is the greatest wide receiver of all time. I say Deion is arguably the greatest corner. There's going to be other suggestions, but he's in the mix.
You said arguably, so I agree with that. Okay.
Yeah, you got the Darryl Greens. There are others.
Yeah.
Some people prefer a more physical corner, whereas Dion was a lot of speed and just beating guys to the football a lot of times and covering ground and also intimidating quarterbacks to the point where they wouldn't even throw the damn ball.
Yeah, no, that
Um,
wouldn't.
yeah, and they'd be
I agree.
sorry if they did. And then you factor in his punt and kick return stuff. And I want to reiterate, as a triple threat, nobody's seeing Dion. But as just corner, you could still mention Darrell Green, Revis Island. There are other great ones. But I bring up the history because this is a very rich history in this division, you know. Um, I got to think Buffalo fans got to be a little alarmed that they had this Super Bowl window and the Chiefs were like their grand nemesis and they just couldn't beat the Chiefs. And you know, they've had a couple of other failures like the Bengals a couple of years back.
I mean, look, the Bills had their shot. You know, they had a home field advantage. Chiefs came to
Yeah.
Buffalo. You know, the guy pulled the Scott Norwood.
Oh, that
Um,
was yeah, that was bad.
you know, I mean that was their shot, man. That was their shot.
And
That was their
even
shot to do
last
it.
year in Mile High Stadium, they outplayed the Broncos but still left the losers.
Yeah,
And I can
yeah.
relate to the pain of the Buffalo Bills because I'm a New York Knicks fan. We finally, after so many years of just pure frustration and heartache, win the big one. Finally, I imagine it's going to be something similar to that kind of celebratory mood if the Bills hoist it. But
It ain't
to
gonna. It
your
ain't gonna be.
point,
It ain't gonna be this year.
to your point, they ran it. The Bills and the Knicks failures ran into each other in the '90s. But this is an
Yep.
interesting caveat that I got to mention to you, Brett, and why I'm bringing up both teams. Do you know that when Rich Stadium was originally opened, the very first year, guess who won the NBA title?
Rich Stadium, first year, maybe in the '80s. Giants.
No, no, no. I'm talking about in the NBA.
Oh, NBA.
This is and by the way, I'll give you a little hint. This was in the '70s.
I mean, obviously it's the Knicks.
It was the Knicks.
Obviously, yeah,
Now Buffalo opening up a new stadium now, that would be pretty crazy, dude.
yeah.
There were like the Long Island Railroad people were on strike. Also, when the Knicks won in the '70s, they had a strike this year. The Knicks won. It's kind of weird when you think about it,
No.
how history could be so cyclical. I mean, it's going to take a lot more than opening a stadium and a
Uh,
railroad strike in Long Island to ensure the Bills a Super Bowl. But
I
I
know.
do want to
I
talk about their roster.
okay.
I do want to talk about their roster. I'm going
Yep.
to let you read this. Just we're going to go over this for a second here, as we're going to take our time with this. Because
Oh
I think
boy.
everybody tuning in knows that this is only a two-team race. I will mention the Jets and Dolphins briefly, but let's be real. This is a
But
two-team race.
briefly.
DJ Moore via trade with the Bears. Edge rusher Bradley Chubb. I like that pickup. Center
Mm.
Lloyd Cushenberry. They bring back DeMar Hamlin. They bring in Dante Demetrius Flanagan Fowles. I like that pickup. The Bills are one of the few teams that actually employs a real fullback. I love that about the NFL still. Chauncey
Mm.
Gardner Johnson, cornerback D. Alford. When I look at what they did in terms of player additions, with the exception of obviously DJ Moore and getting some interior line help, this team went in on defensive help because they desperately need to at least be in the top 15 of the league, 16, right in the middle, I think, if they're going to have a chance. Because I do believe that with James Cook coming off of the best year of his career, and now you bring in Josh Allen's best weapon since the Stephon Diggs, minus all the off the field atrocities, I think this could work. But it's a lot of pressure on a new coach. You know, I was a little taken back when they fired Sean McDermott. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Sean McDermott isn't on the hot seat because they desperately gotta win that championship. And here's one other connection. The Knicks hired a new coach and they won too. The Bills hire a new coach.
Oh
There's
God,
a lot of connections.
will you fucking stop? Just
There's a
fucking
lot of
stop, please.
connections.
Just stop. Stop. Please stop. Don't ever no. Stop.
There's a lot
Just
of
stop.
connections, Brad T.
I understand there's connections. I understand you're superstitious as fuck. I
You're
understand
damn right.
that you have the fucking the sock thing, the bunny thing on the side of your balls, whatever. I get it, but freaking please stop, dude. Just stop. Look, Josh Allen. Look, we've been talking about this for the past 4 or 5 years. Josh Allen can only take that team so far. You know,
13 and
if
1
they
since putting this on my Crocs. 13
I
and 1
I
NBA champion.
I understand that, you fuck. But listen to me, please. If they would have signed a shutdown corner or a fucking edge rusher that was, or interior lineman that was like an Aaron Darnold kind of thing, I can understand the promise. They didn't do that. They didn't do that one bit. They didn't sign a free agency guy that is going to take them to the next level. You know, they got rid of a wide receiver and then they brought in DJ Moore. Now, is he a legit, 1 to 10, top 10 receiver? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I can understand where you're coming from, dude. I do. I understand, the optimism. I understand, the hope. I get that 100%. These guys are in a new stadium now. And a lot of the fans, and I've spoken to a lot of the fans already, they are not happy with that new stadium.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of bad things about it
They
myself,
don't
and you were,
they don't
yeah.
like the views. They don't like the views. You're blocked in certain areas. Even if you're paying, you know, over 2 grand, 4 grand, 5 grand for a seat, 10 rows up from the freaking sideline, you're still getting rained on. You're still getting snowed on.
Another
Like
thing that I heard,
they put a tarp over the top, and it doesn't cover half the freaking stadium.
another thing that I heard too, like when MetLife Stadium opened up, and what was the big complaint about like the Vet or like a place like Giant Stadium, even like the old school Giant Stadium, is that a lot of people felt that it was like playing on cement.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Even the old Buffalo Stadium was a similar situation.
Mhm.
Um, that's going to lead to another discussion that we'll hit on before we get out. But the point is, I know amongst a lot of Giant fans, they feel that MetLife Stadium is kind of cookie cutter. It doesn't necessarily carry over that same kind of ambiance because you know how, like, okay, I'll give you an example, like a Shea Stadium. Shea Stadium doesn't have the same allure as like Yankee Stadium, but they had their moments. You got Hogan versus Andre in Shea Stadium. You got the Beatles.
Yeah, I know. I know. Listen, we're getting off topic here.
No,
We're
we're
getting
right
off
on it.
topic.
You bring up the
So
stadium, and
I I don't know. I don't know about that one. Look, I understand what the Bills did. New stadium, new head coach. They filled in a couple pieces, but are those pieces going to carry them over the top?
Well,
No,
remember,
absolutely not.
we still got to talk about their
No.
draft class. You did mention, did they get a shutdown corner? Well, I'm going to tell you what they got here. T.J.
Mm.
Parker, edge rusher out of Clemson. I see him as a potential star. Davison Igbinuson out of Ohio State. In my opinion, the ability to be a shutdown corner playing in a high-profile Ohio State program. Caleb Elam's Orr, the
Could be.
safety out of TSU, my personal favorite of all the safeties in this draft. They go and get some beef in the middle, Zane Durant out of Penn State. I do believe this Buffalo defense has the ability to possibly be better than the top 15, which is what I think it would require for them to think about winning the conference when obviously your team is the defending champs over there, not just in the division, but also the conference. And of course, you have a Denver team that lost to you in the title game, very close game, without their starter Bo Nix. I
No,
see
Bo Nix played.
Bo Nix didn't play in the AFC title game last year.
He didn't play that game.
Jared Stidham played that game.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. He
He got
did.
hurt.
Didn't play.
He didn't. That nobody knew he got hurt. He got hurt at the very end of the Buffalo game. But
You're right.
the point I'm making is, Denver's going to be heard from in the AFC. They're close. Um, your
Mhm.
team is the defending AFC champions. The biggest, I guess you could say, contradiction, or let's poke something at the Patriots last year. I mean, you play who's on your schedule. It's not their fault that the schedule was kind of favorable, and they also caught some good breaks. Because I'm one of the people that feel that if the Patriots and Bills would have had a third matchup last year, I honestly do think the Bills would have beat you. That's just my opinion. It didn't happen, so it doesn't really matter what my opinion is. Obviously, you're going a mile high, and even without their starting quarterback, you still got the crowd, you still got the elements, you still have a really great defense. That was a hell of a football game. It was a tight defensive struggle that came down to the kickers, and
Mhm.
your kicker was better. Your kicker was better, bottom line. And
Well,
not
it
for
came down.
nothing,
It came
Sean
down to a
Payton
Drake.
got
It
out
came
coached.
down. It came down to a Drake May runaround play to finish the game. That's
Absolutely,
what it
but
came down to.
I do believe that Sean Payton out coached himself early. I think not taking the points
Yeah.
early came back to bite him.
Yeah. I did.
And
I
Sean
agree.
Payton doesn't get out coached all that often, but to be fair, Mike Vrabel is a damn good coach. And I do want to talk about your team now, and then we're going to go back and forth, debate this a little bit more before we sink those other two turds that are holding up space in this division. Here's a little question for the New England Patriots.
Yeah.
Will the off-field distractions with regard to Mike Vrabel hurt him leading the defending AFC champs? What am I talking about? I'm talking about the Diana Rossini
No.
situation. It's not illegal. It's
No.
not criminal to have an
No.
extramarital affair, but it's also not a good look when you're leading a football team. Let's just say that.
I I understand that, and you bring up bullshit, and it's not going to affect the team. It's not going to affect Mike Vrabel's coaching approach. It's not going to affect anything. This guy freaking does. This guy keeps everything at the freaking front door. Okay, he's not going to bring anything in the building that he's not trying to bring in. He's an OG, man. He's an OG,
So,
plain and
so
simple.
you're saying Mr. Kraft is probably not going to offer Miss Rossini a job.
I don't know. I don't know what he's thinking. All I can tell you is that Vrabel is not going to let the distractions hurt the team. Period.
Well,
Plain and simple.
he did a good job of that last year, because last year, former Patriot, now he's a commander now. But between the Cardi B stuff and between the boat situation with Stephon Diggs, he did a good job of navigating that. I mean, he was pissed. He wasn't happy, because that's not what any new coach for a new,
No, no, he was pissed, but he kept it. I'm not going to say hidden, but he kept it outside. The team was focused, and that's what he does, man. He's a freaking OG, man. Don't
But
we
what always helps is winning. Because if they were losing,
agree?
it's a lot easier to point these things out. When you're winning, it's a lot easier to accept some of the funk
Oh,
around the
agreed.
building.
I mean, they went on a 10-game win streak last year, so it's I don't. This is not a distraction for him or the team at all. I mean, granted, the media is going to do what they do. They're gonna rage bait you. They're gonna do all this other dumb shit to try to get it out of you. And I mean, he's like, you remember the Belichick old, you know,
Yeah,
speech responses?
we're going on to Cincinnati. We're
Yeah,
going
we're
on
moving
to
on
East
to
Rutherford.
Cincinnati. We're doing
Yeah,
this. We're doing that. Yeah,
less is
that's
more.
that's his mentality as well. Granted, he may word it differently, but that's his same mentality. And I think he's on board. He's in it to win it. So anybody that says, "Hey, is this going to affect his strategy? Is this going to affect this? Is it going to?" No, no, stop it, stop
Well,
it,
what's
stop
going,
it.
what's huge going into this season for your team, or even last year, if we're talking personally about Mike Vrabel, if you consider his run in Tennessee, they were always a quality football team.
Yeah.
They were a team that was in the mix. He got the best out of Ryan Tannehill, but let's be real. There's capped limitations with a player like Tannehill. He had, of course, Derrick Henry, who's still playing at an elite level in
Yep.
Baltimore. He's like an
And,
ageless wonder.
and AJ Brown.
Yeah, he did have AJ Brown there too. This is their second time together, and
Yep.
I'm about to hit on him in a second. But the best thing for Mike Vrabel coming into New England is that he never had a quarterback that had the ceiling of a Drake May, because Drake May, while finishing second in MVP voting, losing to Matthew Stafford in a close race, when you consider that this is only year three, and you also consider that AJ Brown, in my opinion, if he's focused, and Vrabel did get the most out of him in Tennessee, even when AJ got out of there, they parted amicably. It wasn't like, a really ugly thing, you know, when he went to Philly. I mean, Philly
Mhm.
was a good opportunity for him at the time. And in my personal opinion, Philadelphia has the best wide receivers coach in the league. And I'm not buttering up because he's Idris's cousin. I'm just saying how I feel. I hate the Philadelphia Eagles, but I
I
think
mean,
Aaron Moorhead.
they got a ring out of it. So
I think Aaron Moorhead's a terrific wide receivers coach. I think a lot of position coaches get overlooked by the mainstream media, but they really make a lot of stuff go for the head man.
mhm.
This New England defense, in my opinion, Brett, I watched the Super Bowl, of course, last year. You didn't win, but it was no fault of the defense. I really thought that the defense last year, in general, played with a ferocity that
Yeah,
reminded me of those Patriot teams that had a dynasty, the first part of the dynasty. I'm talking
early,
about like,
early 2000s. Yeah,
yeah, correct.
yeah.
Because later in the Patriot days, like Tom Brady was having like phenomenal years, but sometimes the defense. I'll give you a great example. 2010. You guys won 14 games that year, and in my opinion, everybody wants to talk about, oh damn, '07, we got so close, we should have been undefeated, and in a lot of people's minds, you should have been. But I'm willing to make an argument that the 2010 New England Patriots may have been just as good, but the
Mm.
same thing happened. You had a bend but don't break defense, but unfortunately they broke. This particular Patriot team doesn't really show me a lot of holes on defense. Unfortunately, what happened in that game last year is that experience won. Seattle was a little more experienced, not necessarily as a team, because it wasn't like they were at that level. This was not the Legion of Boom guys. But what I mean by experience is you had a lot of veterans on that team that have been in the NFL wars, whereas New England, you got younger guys. The defense did all they could do. Drake May, unfortunately, did not have a fair chance to get the ball downfield. He was under duress the whole game.
The whole game,
Uh,
dude.
and he had to take chances eventually, and they didn't work. And listen, Sam Darnold didn't play that great either. It's just the difference between Drake and Sam Darnold is that Sam Darnold didn't really have to take those chances downfield, where in Drake's case, it was getting to a point where he absolutely had to do something, because the Patriot offense didn't even really wake up until the fourth quarter.
Yeah, no, it
And it was,
was that front seven of Seattle, dude. I haven't seen a front seven play like that in years,
yeah, they would,
years.
and they do it the old
They
school way.
they manhandled that entire offensive line, the running backs, wide receivers. Like you said it. I mean, Drake was under duress almost the entire game, and he finally, came through in the fourth quarter. But holy shit, dude! I have not seen a front seven play like that. I, I'm not gonna lie to you, probably since the 2000 Ravens.
Yeah, they were devastating, and I
You
can
know what I
speak
mean? Like it
I
was
could speak
just,
from experience being a Giants fan. They were
it
devastating.
was, man, that was brutal to watch, man. And in order, I mean, granted, I mean, just for my team to make the Super Bowl, holy shit! Congratulations, man. Dude, I wasn't expecting them to go past the second round last year.
Well, what
You
was
know,
wild is, I said this to you before. Yeah, you got to be good. You gotta win the turnover battle
you
sometimes. You
gotta,
gotta
you
play.
gotta, you gotta have some luck. You got to have some
Yeah,
luck.
and luck helps. When you played the Chargers, they were missing their two offensive tackles,
Yep.
and you did what you were supposed to do. You
Yep.
exploited that. Justin Herbert got his ass kicked. C.J. Stroud, he was seeing ghost. He could
Oh,
not find he could not find anybody that was wearing a Houston jersey
oh yeah.
whenever he threw the football.
No, like what we did to CJ Stroud is exactly what Seattle did to us in the Super Bowl. Plain and simple.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty fair assessment and a pretty accurate one. We're going to hit on some of your player additions, Bretsky. I like what the Patriots did here with some of this. You got Romeo Doubs, the former Packer. This is a guy that I think is going to be a nice compliment
Yeah,
opposite of Brown. Elijah Vera Tucker, he has to be happy as hell getting out of the Jets. Hassan Haskins, journeyman running back out of Michigan, that is a depth piece. Greg Van Roten, former New York Giant, he's a very good player. He's a little older, but definitely a guy that is ready to rock. And I
got the
think he kind
experience.
of, I think he kind of fits the mold of a Mike Vrabel kind of tough guy because Vrabel is the kind of guy that he likes to mix it up with his team. He's not afraid to get physical in practice because he's still in great shape. James Hudson, I'm going to tell you right now from experience as a Giants fan, you better hope that guy's never on the field unless if it's like week 18 and you're just everybody's chilling out. He has the dubious distinction of going off sides 3 times in a row. I wanted to punch my TV. So yeah, I hope that guy doesn't find the field, or hopefully he doesn't even make the 53-man roster. That guy was terrible. But
We'll see.
outside of him, dude, you guys have a pretty good offensive line. I like the Vera Tucker move because, to your point, Brett, you talked about how your offensive line, they're good, but they got manhandled by a more experienced team, and that comes
They
with
did.
learning the ropes.
Yeah.
And a couple of former Giants came up big in that game. Leonard Williams had a hell of a game. Julian Love out of Notre Dame, former Giant, he showed up, had a good game.
Hmm.
And a former Jet, Sam Darnold, not a great game, but he made the plays that unfortunately Drake May wasn't able to make. But
Well,
I like
I
what you
mean,
did here. I like these roster additions. I think these are reinforcements, and you're bringing in some veteran leadership that's going to help these younger players on the offensive line.
I like that, and our wide receiving depth.
Hmm.
Shit, shit.
Yeah, you lose Diggs, and I
You
don't
know,
really think it matters because I think
no,
you get a superior player in
it
Brown.
didn't. It didn't matter. We had Brown, and we brought in Dobbs. So Efton Chisholm, he's probably one of the most underrated players on the offense, and his name won't be showcased until he comes through. But you heard it, Efton Chisholm. He's gonna be a slot guy. Um, no, I think between Ramondre Stevenson,
Yeah,
it's
that's pretty much a 50
you know
50 split
that one. It is 100% a 50-50 split.
because he still
100%.
gets the hard yards, no question
Yeah,
about it.
yeah. He'll get the first short yardage, second short yardage. You know,
Absolutely.
you know
Couldn't agree
it's
more.
it's a good 50-50 split, 100%. And we got two solid tight ends. Our kicker solid. Drake May. I mean, Jesus Christ. He hasn't even hit his prime yet. I don't think he's reached his full potential. Not even close. Um, but under Vrabel, he's got a good shot of improving, 100%. Um, our defense. I mean, Gonzo, he's going to get paid. He shut down probably one of the most prolific receivers in the NFL during the Super Bowl. That's why he's getting paid. Um, but no, our defense was uh, very, I'm not gonna say potent, but very underrated and very uh, unexpected last year. And they
Yeah,
showed
I
up.
most definitely share
They
your
showed up.
sentiments.
They showed up. They showed up, especially in Super Bowl. I mean, Gonzo shut down. Gonzo shut down the best receiver in the NFL last year in the biggest game of the fucking year. He shut him down.
Yeah, Gonzalez, his biggest question mark was could he stay healthy? Because when he's on the field, he's a premier player.
Hmm.
Um, and the Patriots have always been good over the years, even going back to the Belichick regime, for being able to get quality corners that fit their system. And they've also been very good at knowing when to let popular guys go that might be slipping out of their prime. Instead of paying somebody and hurting your cap,
Oh
the
yeah.
Patriots have been able to avoid that and still continue to be a really good team. What I'm most impressed with is that while Buffalo, and I said it and I meant it, I personally think Buffalo would have beat you last year, but they didn't. The point is, you guys got to the Super Bowl before they did, and this was while you guys had the Belichick turnover, Gerard Mayo, who I don't really think it was really his fault. It's just when you have a chance to get a Mike Vrabel, you go ahead and you take care of it and you get the job done and you go sign that guy. And that's
Hmm.
what they did. I consider this a two-team race, as does the rest of the world. The only thing, in my opinion, that could really hurt the Patriots from being a top three team, top four team in the AFC is if Drake May were to get hurt for an extended period of time. I think that would be the only thing. I believe Josh Dobbs is still your backup, and I think he's one of the more cerebral quarterbacks in the league, one of the smartest quarterbacks in the league. So, if it was like a short term thing, I think you'd be all right. The 50-50 split between Ramondre and Trevion is a good thing. They're two completely different backs. But I still think that Ramondre is going to hold on to his close to 50% split. So to the fantasy heads, I would say it's a good idea to draft either one of them because they're both going to get you numbers, but in different ways.
You know, there's two flip sides to that coin. You know, what if the Bills do win the last game of the year and they got the Patriots boxed in? So I don't think the
Yeah.
Patriots hesitate, not for a second.
I'll be honest. I think they're both going to win north of 10 games, no problem. The question is, are they going to get 12 or more? We're going to pull up the schedules for each of these teams and we're going to get
Ooh.
into the discussion.
Yeah.
All right, let's pull up your Patriots first since we're kind of talking about them in the moment. Just bear with me, guys. I'm pulling up the New England Patriots schedule here. All right, can you see everything clear enough?
Let me frame it. All right. Seattle, Pitt, Jags, Buffalo, Oakland, Jets, Chicago. Okay.
So yeah, let me just change my scenery here. I'm gonna get back inside. I was stretching outside because I've been doing a lot of pacing doing this show. It's a little later than we usually do, so I'm back. I was
Hey, good.
stretching out. All right.
Obviously, obviously, the Seattle game's away game. It's gonna be at Seattle,
Yeah, that's banner night.
raising the banner.
That's a tough one.
It is a tough one because I've been watching. The HBO Max. I've been watching Hard Knocks with Seattle.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm seeing what they're doing.
Yes.
They got a good squad, dude. They got a really good squad, but they're still having a hard time replacing Kenneth Walker. Um, he was the glue to that offense. And
I I don't
hence
think they're gonna miss him as much as you think.
hence this, I mean, dude. He was the Super Bowl MVP.
I
Okay,
understand that a lot of guys have been Super Bowl MVPs. But Jadarian Price out of Notre Dame, who was kind of cheating into Jeremiah Love's carries with the Irish.
yeah,
I think Jadarian Price gonna. I'm. I don't know if I'm completely comfortable saying he's gonna have a better year than his Notre Dame teammate, who is obviously a higher pick, and but he's with a worse team. The Cardinals offensively are going to chuck the ball all the time. The point I'm making is he has a better offense. He has a better line. He has more fluidity. He's got JSN running routes. Jadarian Price, guys, could have a really impressive rookie season in Seattle. And Zach Charbonnet, his role really doesn't change. He was kind of the backup last year, and then he hurt himself, and then Walker got like all the action. And I'll tell you what, he Walker's going to be amazing for the Chiefs, and I think he reopens their window a little bit
You will.
to at least have that one last hurrah to try to see if they can stick around and get in the playoffs. Because yeah, they didn't make the playoffs last year, and I'm sure a lot of people were happy about that because the Chiefs have proven that when they get in, it doesn't really matter how they got in. They have turned it up a notch. But last year the Chiefs just had too many injuries, and I'll be honest with you, I don't think they were that motivated last year either. But I think Rasheed Rice, some of that stuff behind him. I like that Chiefs roster. We're not doing the West preview right now, just making a mention because of the Kenneth Walker connection.
No.
But
No.
yeah,
But
this is going to be a
according to the schedule, we're up with the NFC North and the AFC West this year.
yes, indeed.
Um, so that's not an easy schedule by any means. Um, I like our matchup against Jacksonville. I think we'll beat Pittsburgh. I think we'll lose the first game. Um, at Buffalo, I mean, history wise, we always win at Buffalo at the beginning of the season. I don't know what it is. We always win. Um,
And they have a propensity for playing good in New England. So
yeah, yeah. I
would you
think.
say it's safe to say you're looking at a split
Well, I think we'll split with them this year. I will. I think we'll split with them.
with you guys winning the first matchup?
I think we'll win the first matchup. Yeah, 100%.
I would say a potential 50-50 game. That Chicago game. That's going to be a test. Chicago's much improved,
Yeah, at
but
Miami, I think we'll smoke them. Green Bay's a home game. I like our chances there. At Detroit, that's gonna be a tough one. Um, at Chargers, another tough one. Bills at home, that's probably will get us. Vikings are at home. I'll take that. I'll take a win out of that one. Now we're going. Then we're going to KC. Uh, ooh, at the Jets, and then the last two. I mean, Denver and Miami at home. Um, that's not an easy schedule, man. Um, I'm gonna say hold on, 1-1, 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, 5-1, 6. Ooh, okay, 6-2, six and
does
three,
anything on this
6 and
schedule stand
4.
out to you as a trap game?
I would say a trap game.
I'm going to say the Raiders.
No, no, I'm not gonna say the Raiders. I'm not gonna say the Raiders.
Well, let me ask you.
I'd say probably the Minnesota game.
Minnesota was the next one I was going to mention.
I'd say Minnesota might be a possible trap game.
Where's that game being played? That's a roadie,
That's
right?
no, that's at New England.
At New England. Interesting. Well, let me ask you a question. Who did you pick to win the NFC North?
Oh, the NFC North.
Well, yeah, you're
Uh,
playing them this year, so I was kind of curious who you think's the best team out there.
Detroit.
Well, it's funny, right? I'm actually picking the Minnesota Vikings to win that division, and Ryan Shed also agreed with me.
I mean, that's your opinion.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays. I actually think that with Kevin O'Connell doing such a great job with rebuilding quarterbacks, I have a feeling Kyler Murray is gonna mature as a quarterback this year in that system, and I think you're gonna see a bigger role for Jordan Mason, where Aaron Jones is getting older. But I like their receiving room. We'll see. But that was a tough schedule. I'm gonna go either 10-7 or 11-6. I don't think you do any worse than 10 wins.
I'm gonna say 11 tops. I mean, the schedule's not easy by any means. I think we'll sweep the Jets. We'll beat the
Well,
Raiders. We'll beat the
I
Jags.
figure you're gonna go 5-1 in your division, splitting with Buffalo, because I don't think you lose to the Jets or the Dolphins. No
No,
way.
no, no. We're not. We're not. We'll sweep them both. Um, that second to last game of the year, Denver at home. Um, that's a tricky one. That is a
That's
real
gonna be a
tricky one.
that's gonna be a tough one. The one thing that I don't like about your schedule, just for the fans, I would have liked to see you guys play Buffalo a little later in the year for the excitement because of the fact that you guys are going to be fighting for the division probably.
Yeah,
You
we
guys
kind of
play
play
them,
early.
yeah, a little early, but
Yeah,
week 17 or 18 rather against the Dolphins. I mean, I personally think you could beat those guys with your backups.
yeah. Oh yeah,
Um,
that's a home game. I mean, that's yeah, that's
I will say this: the Chargers got bullied by you guys in the playoffs last year, but I have a feeling that my biggest thing with the Chargers is can their O line stay healthy? Because
mm,
I believe that if Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater are both healthy, the Chargers are going to be a problem for a lot of people. And while everybody's hot for Denver, and with good reason, they're coming off a title game loss. I actually think the Chargers, this might be the year where they take the next step, but they need to get that offensive line healthy because those two guys, if it's similar to last year where they're not in the field, Justin Herbert's going to get killed. But I really
mhm.
like their roster.
Yeah. I'll take 11 wins. Um, and that's just by the grace of God. I mean,
I'm taking 11 as well.
that's a tough schedule, man.
I got you going 11-6 for one simple reason. Four of your wins are against the Dolphins and the Jets.
Yeah,
So I say to myself, okay, that's 4 games. You have 13 left. You only got to go seven, 7-6 the rest of the way. I think
yeah,
you could do that.
we could.
Basically, you got to play just over 500 in games, not
We got
including the Jets and Dolphins. I think you could do that.
Chargers, Oakland. I think we'll beat Chicago. Green Bay is hit or miss. I think we'll lose. The opener against Seattle. I think we'll beat Pittsburgh. So I mean, yeah, I like your chances.
Yeah, I
I
like you
think
guys
I
against
think
Pittsburgh for sure.
I think we'll go. I think we'll start off pretty good. I think we'll start off 6-2, 6-3. And I think we'll go on a bit of a small slump, and then we'll come through in the end. But I don't think we're gonna have the run that we did last year. I mean, we won. I think what 10, 11 in a row we won last year.
Well, the schedule's considerably
So
tougher this year too. That
yeah,
that's gonna
no, it's
that's gonna
tougher.
play a factor. Because what
Yeah,
did you guys finish last year? 14 wins in the regular season, right?
no,
14
we
and
weren't
three, I believe.
14. No, we were 12. We were 12. I don't think we had 14 last year.
Well, point to be made is um, you guys you guys are gonna definitely
Yeah,
like I said,
we didn't
seven
have
and six.
we didn't have home field last year, so
Yeah, seven and
we definitely didn't have
six.
14.
Yeah, I think you were the 2 seed if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
We
you were the
were,
2 seed.
we were,
Yeah,
but we had to go.
seven and
We had to,
six, 7-6 against the rest of your schedule gets you 11 wins, and I think that's exactly how it's going to play out. Now you can't always account for a trap game or whatever. One last thing I want to mention: that Charger game's going to be a good one. I think the
be a good one.
Chargers got that bad taste in their mouth because they were playing good against you guys defensively,
Well,
but
it
once it,
it depends on what they have. It depends on their health.
yeah, their
Depends on
health has
Herbert.
always been a thing. Yeah,
Depends on
Herbert is
Herbert.
is the key. Herbert
Yeah,
has to be healthy, no doubt about
Herbert's
it.
Herbert's got to be healthy.
All right, we're gonna move it along to the Buffalo Bills schedule.
Let me see
Week
this one.
one, week one is gonna be a titanic
Ooh.
matchup. That is that is like that is like an instant test.
Oh man, they got a tougher schedule than we do.
Yeah, I tend to agree because of the way it's
They
laid
do.
out.
Yeah.
Um, this is how I see this going.
Wow.
They'll take the L week one in Houston, home
Yeah.
opener, new stadium, Detroit Lions. I think they're gonna win a shootout.
The first 4 games are at home. I'm
No, no,
sorry, five. Wait, hold on.
no.
Oh, you're right. 3 games. No, 2 out of 3.
No. The little anything you see next to the team they're playing, that's a roadie.
Okay, I got you.
That's an at side. It's a little mushed with the picture, but yeah. So Houston,
Whoosh.
that's an yeah. Houston's definitely an L.
We've been mooshed.
Um, yeah. Week 1, I don't like it. Week 2, they'll beat the Lions. Week 3 could be a tricky one. Um, my goodness. Then you got the Rams.
Yeah.
I'll put it to you. I'll put it to you like this.
You didn't even mention us. You skipped over us. You went to the freaking Chargers to the freaking Rams. You skipped over
Well,
us.
I'm trying to explain myself. If you stop interrupting me,
I didn't mean to.
the Los Angeles Rams, they're the consensus favorite to win it all,
Hundred
especially if
percent.
Aaron Donald decides to come back, which still hasn't been completely decided. So this is the thing:
100%.
if you're not, if they're not, I should say, if they're not 2-2 going into the Rams game, that's going to be a problem. I'm going to give them wins over the Lions and the Patriots. They'll figure out a way to beat you early.
Wow. But they haven't beaten us early. They always
They
get us
haven't.
later. They always get us later in the season. No, we always beat them early.
Well, let's just say you're right and I'm wrong. This team is going to be one. Let's see, 1, 2. I got this team at 2-3. I got this team at 2-3 after the Rams game. They'll beat the Raiders, then they get their
Hmm.
bye. They'll beat the Ravens, I think. Minnesota could
Mm,
be a close one. I'm gonna give the Vikings the dub there. So what are we looking at? 4-4. Jets, they'll sweep them 5-4, 6-4. They always beat the Chiefs in Buffalo as long as it's not a playoff game. They'll win that one. If
mm,
your prediction is right, they'll win the second Patriot game at Green Bay. That's not going to be easy. You know what? I'm going to take the Pack there. They'll beat Chicago at home. They'll lose to Denver. I see 10 and 7 hot in Miami late.
mm.
10
Yeah.
and 7. 10 and 7. They're a wild
Wow.
card again. 10 and
Okay.
7.
So
Patriots are going
the
to win this division 2 years in a row. Patriots are going to win this division again.
okay. If you say so. The first 8 weeks for that Bills team, that's a tough one.
Well, the thing is, right?
9 weeks. First 9 weeks.
Well, let me
But
ask you a
yeah.
question. Let me ask you a question, and it's way too early. And this is your first time on a division preview this year. We haven't we did do the AFC South earlier. The consensus, we all picked the Houston Texans to my recollection.
Okay.
A lot of people feel that the Texans, as long as CJ Stroud plays within himself, because they got it all, or at least it seems like that. But they did take a big blow to the wide receiver room. There's actually been rumors that the Giants might be willing to move on from Darius Slayton because of the contract and with Houston's need for a wide receiver. Man, if they offer us even a sixth, I make that deal like tomorrow. And it also opens up things for OBJ, who I actually think would help the team more than Slayton. Because I'm just going to be honest with you, I trust OBJ more than Slayton,
Mm,
even at his old age. I'm not a big Slayton fan. I'll be honest with you, and I wasn't a fan of that contract either. But I'll be honest. I think the Houston Texans. Everybody's talking about other teams because defense isn't sexy, you know. But the God's honest truth is, when it comes to the entire league, I don't think anybody is going to be more disturbing than the Houston Texans on defense. And you're
gonna
going
be
to see
brutal.
that. Yeah, you mentioned the 2000 Ravens earlier in the year,
Gonna be
earlier in the
brutal.
show. This team reminds me to a level of the
Yeah.
2000 Ravens.
And they
Um,
they they improved this year.
that's what I'm
And
saying.
they had
They
a
got the
top
best,
three. They had a top three defense last year, and they improved this year. Like
dude.
I,
They got the top, dude. They got the best nose tackle in the entire draft.
oh man,
But their wide receiving room is hurting a little. So
yeah,
I would not be the least bit surprised to see the Texans make a move for a receiver at the deadline or
yeah,
even before the year starts. So, like, and another thing that the Texans might hope for when everybody cuts down to 53-man roster, that's where you could maybe get lucky and get a good player that just didn't work out because of math. Because a lot of times, good players get let go of and turn out
mhm,
to actually help teams when it matters. Look at little Jordan Humphrey. That guy had like his 15 minutes of fame
when we beat the Eagles last year, pissed in Saquon's Cheerios when they were doing the Saquon premiere on Prime,
Mm.
and he wasn't even on the team a month later. And then you blink your eyes, and he's playing in the AFC title game against the Patriots.
Yep.
It happens fast in the NFL,
Yeah,
and
it does.
opportunities sometimes come to the most random players in some of the biggest moments. I mean, dude, look at a autographed picture in my kitchen, David Tyree. Not many people outside of Giant fans knew who that guy was going into
All right.
Super
All right.
Bowl 42.
How you bring up that
Look at
fucking clown?
look at Malcolm Butler, dude.
Oh,
Malcolm Butler. Who the hell knew who he was?
I know exactly. I know.
You know, it's these things happen, but I got the Texans as a strong possibility to win the whole conference this year. I really do mean that, but it's going to come down to
CJ
is
Stroud.
CJ. This is another thing about them, dude. In addition to having the best kicker, the best defense in the league, they have a top 5 kicker, which is massive in the playoffs.
Yeah, they do. They do. But
And when you,
and from my understanding, CJ Stroud is trying to get the highest contract of any quarterback in the NFL right now, and
well,
he's looking for a $70 million freaking guaranteed shit, or a $70 million a year, whatever the frick it is.
I can't blame them.
Um, I can. He sucks. Come playoff time, he sucks. What has he earned? How has he earned a $70 million bonus?
I never even said
How?
that he earned it. I never said that
How?
he earned it. I never said that he earned it. But I'm going to tell you why he's going to get it. Because do they have a better option? No. And the other part is it's the market. You can thank the Cleveland Browns for screwing up the market
Crap.
by giving Deshaun Watson all that money.
Yeah, I know. And look what happened.
Buddy, look how much
It's
Daniel
trashed the
jo-
market.
Buddy,
Trashed the market.
look how much money Daniel Jones has made in his career. And I'm not just talking about the Giant contract. Indianapolis gave him a nice contract too.
No, I know.
You talk about an enigma. The guy has one playoff win.
I
I
know.
Eli Manning, in terms of contracts, made a ton of money, and a lot of people ridiculed Eli for that because a lot of people are like, Eli, he beat the GOAT twice and he had some great moments, but is he really a Hall of Famer? A lot of people, put my guy Eli on the fence. But if you're mad about Eli making money like that, how could anybody,
I'm,
co-sign Stroud or
I'm not mad at
Daniel
Eli.
Jones?
I'm not mad at Eli for making that money. I'll be
No,
mad if
no,
they sign CJ Stroud. Hi, baby.
but no, but the point I'm making is a lot of guys, a lot of guys, really got those big contracts where they are benefiting off of just playing the best position you could possibly play at the best time to play it. Because if CJ Stroud is worth that in today's NFL, what the hell would Terry Bradshaw and Bart Starr,
God,
Sonny Jurgensen and Roger Staubach, what the hell would they be worth in today's league?
jerk. Today's league's a joke, man. I'll be
Well,
honest. Today's league's a freaking joke. Today,
the thing with
it's
the
a joke,
NFL.
man. It really is. It really is.
Well,
It's
what's
a
your
freaking
biggest
joke.
issue? Well, what's your biggest issue with the NFL right now?
My biggest issue is that they're. I mean, in all honesty, I think players in college are making more money than some guys in the fucking pros right now.
And you are correct. And that's a complicated one because we talked about this with Barnum Floyd when he was a guest on our show. We talked about the running back market. We talked about
Hmm.
how even the rookie structure, because one of the biggest reasons, Bretsky, why in today's NFL, rookies are the organizations rather have the pressure to put the rookies in there right away
Oh,
is
I know,
because you have limited time to keep
and
them
they
on their rookie deal.
pay him right away. They absolutely pay them right away, dude. Like, and
Well, it
it's a
depends who it
freaking.
is, but
They'll pay him $60 million guaranteed before they even take a snap in the NFL.
but the
That's
point I'm
insane
making,
to me. That's
but the
insane.
but the point I'm making, Bretsky, the point I'm making right now about this is with running backs or safeties, the underpay is severe because one of the labor things that's eventually going to come into play is that you're going to have them arguing about we want our rookie contracts to be shorter. And then on the flip side, the owners and the organizations that they run, they don't want that because you want to keep them under rookie control as long as you can. And I personally think that the NFL might be a few years away from a legitimate labor discussion with regard to
Hmm.
that situation. But to your point, Bretsky, part of the reason why it's not that terrible for certain positions is because of the fact that they can make money in college now. And why do they make money in college now? Because for years and years and years, they barely had enough money to eat.
Yeah.
They barely had a unless if you were the thing I like about paying these kids, I know it's a double-edged sword, but the thing I like about paying these kids is that it doesn't completely eliminate the grimy leeches that try to manipulate these kids, but
Mm.
it's like when you legalize certain things and you take away the middlemen. That's what they're trying to do here. They're trying to clean up college football the best they can. And while a lot of people hate the transfer portal because you got kids that go to 4 schools in 4 years, and I guess to a lot of purists, it kind of makes education look like a joke in a way because
Hmm.
I get it. Because bar none, like I've referenced him many times today. One of the best things I liked about Bar None when he was sitting down with us was he reiterated what it meant to his family for him to get that degree,
Hmm.
albeit he did it later in life because he was busy being a badass fullback in the NFL. But he remembered a promise he made to his mother. And, I do think there has to be a happy medium where what hurts the college game is that there's no loyalty. These kids are already like, I'm going to the NFL and I'll go to 4 different colleges or I'll transfer out of here if I'm waiting too long. It's never going to be perfect, but I
Yeah.
do think that paying them is a lot better than the alternatives. And while we're on it, might as well ask you this too. Do you think that sports gambling is really being legalized in certain states, is really having just a foul influence on sports in general? Because we've seen guys get implicated in some things, the Chauncey Billups situation. You got you got retired mobsters
Uh,
going on podcasts talking about shaving
I mean, dude.
points
I
and
mean, gambling on
name
sports has
dropping
been a
dudes.
thing for many years, dude. Many
Oh,
years.
no
I
question,
don't know
no
why
question.
I don't know why it's.
But
It
but
shouldn't be a
once
thing now,
again,
and it shouldn't be a thing then.
the point I'm making is it's becoming more accepted. Whereas in the old days, it's like you go get your bookie, and if you don't pay your
Yeah.
bookie,
No.
the ramifications.
No.
That's
No.
what I'm getting at.
It's
It's well, once again trying
no.
to
I
clean
know,
up
but
gambling, where in
it's no,
reality it's a legitimate.
they're not trying to clean up gambling. You have a
Yes, they are.
DraftKings. No, they're not. Get the fuck out of
Yes,
here,
they
dude.
are.
They have
Brett,
DraftKings. They
Brett,
have the freaking
Brett, Brett,
no.
Brett,
Come
Brett,
on. Come
Brett,
on.
Brett, Brett.
Come on.
Hear me out. They're making it super accessible now.
Yeah,
Where in the old days, if you wanted to gamble, you had to like kind of know somebody a little bit or know where to go. The point I'm making is that this is a $1 billion industry. But
I agree.
when you're talking about players getting caught up in this shit, it you're kind of sacrificing on some levels the morals or the finer fabric of the league.
There's a
And
difference between betting on a game and betting on a game that you're not playing in.
no, I hear you, Brett.
There's a
But
big difference there.
no, I hear you, Brett. But what I'm saying is, when the best baseball player in the world is under scrutiny, even after MLB did their best effort to push that shit as far away as possible, it's a bad look. You got
Mm.
Hall of Fame players in the NBA being implicated, and I'm going back to the same old shit. You got mobsters that are name dropping players and talking their stuff. And even the Michael Jordan thing when he retired. People to this day swear up and down that that was an agreement between him and David Stern. And it was literally like almost like a pre planned suspension because
Mhm.
Stern was none happy that Michael Jordan was hanging out with not the most savory people in Atlantic City and the media was all on it. because he is the face of not just your league, but the person that every kid in America wanted to be.
Hmm.
So it does dirty up the stuff a little. I like to play my little parlays. I should have pulled out early. No pause on that. But
Mm.
if I would have taken, if I would have just not worried about the Brewers game tonight in the Little League Classic where the kids were interacting with everybody, I
Mm.
would have won half of, whatever. It was a $4 bet. What, I didn't make $82, so I wanted to get it all. I didn't get nothing today. It happens. But always an interesting topic when talking about this. So as of right now, Brett Bandick picks the New England Patriots to finish 11-6. I actually agree with him. I did say 10-7 for the Bills. Brett, what is your final tally for the Bills?
10 wins max.
All
10
right.
wins
So you
max.
got, is that good enough for one of those wild cards?
No.
You got 10-7 and missing.
Yes.
So just off the top of your head, okay, so you got the Pats winning the East.
Yep.
You weren't on our North show, but who do you like in the North?
I like I like Baltimore.
Really, with the new coach and all, you
Yeah,
think it's going to be better for Lamar?
I do.
All
I
right.
do. I think Cincinnati will make a comeback this year.
Well, I think
Um,
they gave their defense some love. It's now or never for them.
yeah, exactly. I think Cincinnati will make a comeback this year.
How about
Um,
Pittsburgh? You think they're walking into a tough season?
they are. They are. I think we're gonna have at least three teams coming out of the AFC South. I think we'll
Really,
have
three?
yeah. I think we'll have Houston. I think we'll have Jacksonville, and I think we'll have Indy.
I share your sentiments on two of those teams, Jacksonville and Houston. I don't feel too good about Indy this year. Um, to be honest with you, I actually picked the Colts to finish last in that division.
And I think out of the West, we'll have Denver and KC.
No Chargers?
Nope. Denver,
Oh,
Denver and KC.
I don't agree with you there. I think the West is sending three. I think the South is sending two. I think the East is sending two.
I'm on the
Hold on.
opposite. I'm on the opposite.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I looked at that Colts schedule. I'm not a fan of it. And I don't believe in Daniel Jones, and I have no reason to. Um, we're gonna hit just briefly on the other two teams, so we don't get accused of. And it's not even about the schedule. We both know that the Dolphins and Jets are going to be
They're not
utter.
doing shit. They're not doing shit. We can
So I'm
all
going to talk
say it.
about. So I'm going to talk about some side stuff.
No,
Is
but
this the tank for? Is the tank for Arch Manning in session for the New York Jets?
I mean, it could be for the Dolphins too.
Possibly.
Uh, no, I think both teams will max out at anywhere between 2 to 4 wins.
Okay.
Four at the max. Four at the max. Um,
Who's the better
yeah,
team of these two?
the Jets.
I agree because I do think the Jets have a halfway decent defense,
Yeah,
but
I
my
think I think the Jets
goodness,
are a better team.
who the hell would have thought in the year 2026 Geno Smith would be quarterbacking the Jets again and Odell Beckham Jr. would be running routes for the Giants again?
Yeah,
Weird times. All right, Malik
yeah.
Willis, a guy that I really like. I thought he did a great job in Green Bay every time Jordan Love went down, which was often last year. Is Malik Willis the answer in terms of being a guy that the Dolphins could rely on to actually give a real contract to, or do you think this is just a placeholder to what you're
No,
talking about?
no. This is a placeholder. He's
I
not.
tend to agree, and I don't mean that to disrespect Willis. I actually like the kid.
No,
He went
I
to a
I
small
I
school. He
I
works
don't
his
either.
butt off.
I
I'd
don't
love
either.
to see him do.
But
I'd love to see him do well.
I think he'll. I mean, Miami notoriously is known for being good the past, the first 5 6 weeks, and
Right.
then the absolute, dive.
If there
Um,
is if
but
there's a
I
bright
yeah,
spot, it's Devin Achan. I think Devin Achan is a terrific running
he's
back.
gonna be the
One
work.
of
He's gonna be the he's gonna be the workhorse of that whole freaking offense. He's gonna be the absolute workhorse. Um, which would be a good
I think
fantasy
it's
pickup,
gonna
but
be I think it's gonna be comparable to what Raheem Mostert did a couple of years ago when he tied Christian McCaffrey for the NFL
Mm,
lead in touchdowns, which was totally like shocking.
I don't look at it like that because Miami's going to be down a lot. Their defense sucks. They're going to be down 10 plus, 15 plus, 20 plus points a game. Are they going to be handing the ball off to Sean? No, absolutely not.
Well,
I think
also
they're going
taking
to.
into consideration,
I think Sean
he
is
also
going to
gets
be out of
surrounded.
the game pretty quickly.
Yeah, but Achan has hands. He's not coming out of the game for any reason unless
He
he needs a
does have
blow.
hands. Don't get me wrong. He does have hands, and he can probably move chains. But is no, I don't see it.
I'm going to go as far as saying I
I
think
don't see
Devin
it.
Achan's going to be. I think Devin Achan, assuming he doesn't get injured, and that also is a risk with the high workload. But I think Devin Achan
Mm,
is actually going to be a top 3 to 4 fantasy running back in overall production this year.
he probably will. He probably will. But
I
it
have
it just depends.
I have a worry with Christian McCaffrey this year being healthy.
Everybody has a worry with Chris McCaffrey. Dude, every year that's a thing. Every year that's the thing with him. It's not just
Well,
this year. It's every year.
last year he managed to stay healthy, and that's another reason I'm a little worried about this year.
Nah, not really. He didn't. No, he missed at least 5, 6 games last year. He definitely wasn't
No, he didn't.
healthy.
He didn't.
Yeah, he
He did
did.
not miss. No, he didn't.
Okay, look it up.
I watched the games, Brett. I don't need to.
Look it up. He missed it. He missed at least almost a handful of games last year.
All right, I will be right back.
Do it up. Yeah, no, he wasn't. He wasn't 100% healthy last year. But Ashan, same thing. I think. I mean, the workload is going to be really heavy on him this year. He's going to be at every 3 down, 4 down back, but they're going to be down every game. So that's a lot on his plate, and there's
Uh,
a very high chance of injury for him.
Bretsky, you still hear me?
It sucks for him. It really does.
Bretsky, you still hear me?
That team's going to be down a lot.
Bretsky, you still hear me? Bretsky, you still hear me?
Reggie there? I don't know where Reggie went. All right, well, continue anyhow. Um, I think Jets will finish third with 3 wins. I lied, 4 wins.
All right, I'm back, Bretsky. You
I
hear me?
think Miami will finish with 3 wins all year.
Bretsky, do you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Christian McCaffrey missed 0 games last year. You were thinking about 2024 where he got hurt in
Eh,
Buffalo. He did not miss a game last year. Now, to your point about being healthy,
one game.
nobody's healthy all year. Not one game. I just looked it up. He
Okay.
didn't, but I didn't feel the need. It's okay. Don't worry. At any rate,
Well, thanks.
I am worried about him being healthy this year, and I'm looking for okay, we know certain guys are like shoe-ins. Derrick Henry every year is the ageless wonder in fantasy.
Hmm.
We know all about that guy. I'm high on him this year again because I have had no reason not to be. Now I am projecting a fantasy fall off for one particular player that had a monster season last year. I'm predicting a fantasy fall off for Devontae Adams.
I don't agree with that. I don't. I don't agree with that at
Elaborate.
all.
But
I
why
mean,
not?
because Stafford is actually really comfortable with him,
Mhm.
and he's not the number one. Um, I think Puka. It depends on the stuff happening outside of NFL. I don't know if he's going to get suspended for a game or two, or possibly 3. I don't really know the outcome. Um, but Devontae's going to step up, dude. Um,
We'll see. I will say this: he's getting up in age. While he's good, I think people are a little misled by the touchdown totals.
oh yeah, Stafford threw to him inside the 10, inside the 15, inside 20.
Yeah,
He was a
he's not racking up those.
he's like a Chris Carter threat. You know?
He's not racking up. He's not racking up those numbers like he did towards
Oh
the best
no,
of Green Bay. But
no.
I do think that he's a candidate for a fall off year because, to your point, let's assume that Puka does get suspended, if that's even a thing, whatever. Or even if Puka got hurt, I don't think Devontae Adams is in a position where he could carry as a number one receiver anymore. And I also think that the emergence of Blake Corum out of Michigan, he's going to really be
Quan's
challenging Kyron Williams for
Quan's a
touches.
great
And
backup. He's a great
yeah,
backup.
I personally think in time he's going to jump Kyron Williams, which is ironic because Michigan and Notre Dame are rivals. But you know when things almost look too perfect, Bretsky, when it comes to rosters and putting together dream teams and all that kind of stuff. I have a bad feeling that this is okay. When you look at the Rams, see, I get it. They're a great tandem, Adams and Puka. We know this.
Hmm.
But they don't have much after those two in that receiving room. And I do worry also about Matthew Stafford because I get it. They have a really good offensive line, so he's been protected well. And in that division, that's saying something because that's a very physical division.
Hmm.
But Matthew Stafford does have a history with the back issues. And I don't know what it is. I just have a strange feeling that this whole dream team Avengers shit that the Rams are doing, not that they're going to miss the playoffs or anything, but I think it's going to blow up in their face where they don't reach their goal. And I'll be honest with you, dude. Myles Garrett's terrific. I get it. And he's got to be super excited finally playing for a winner because he only had really that one playoff win with the Browns when they were good that one year with Baker, the COVID
Hmm.
year when they beat the Steelers in Pittsburgh.
Hmm.
Now, Aaron Donald, according to McVay, the guy could play again if he wants to, and he could play at a high level. I just have a funny feeling that the Rams are going to fall short of this because while on a talent-based standpoint, they're probably going to be incredible to play with, like if you're playing Madden or something.
Yeah,
And I mean, dude,
they're like the Dodgers of the NFL.
kind of, sort of, and they were only one victory away from making the Super Bowl. And no disrespect, Patriots, the NFC was going to win, no matter
Mm-hmm.
which one you played. Those were the two best teams in the league last year. But my thing with the Rams is, I just don't think they have the concept of team the same way that Seattle does. And I'll be honest, dude, even without Kenneth Walker, I love the Jadarian Price draft pick. The Seattle Seahawks didn't lose a lot of talent. I think the Seattle Seahawks may very well find themselves trying to go back to back. I really believe that.
They might.
And it's crazy to think
Might.
that I'm saying that about a team that Sam Darnold quarterbacks because for so many years everybody thought he was a waste case.
So in your mind, what's the stronger division, the NFC or the AFC?
Conference versus conference, which one's better?
Hmm.
Um,
Mm.
I actually think the NFC is stronger right now. I didn't
Okay.
feel that way like say 2 years ago. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I'd probably say the AFC. But I find the AFC to be like a little top heavy where you got like a lot of bad teams too. Like I'll give you an example. I think the Jets are terrible. I think the Dolphins are terrible. I know you have a better opinion of the Colts than I do. I believe it or not, I think the Tennessee Titans are going to be a little improved. But I think if I struck out on anybody this year, I'm already going to tell you who it is. I did pick the Steelers in the North.
Mm.
And after reading, because you know how they say every legend has their last great year,
Hmm.
I do think that to a level, Aaron Rodgers with the reunion with Mike McCarthy could end up being a good story.
Come on.
But at the same time, can Aaron Rodgers push the football downfield and really use the weapons that he has with Metcalf and Pittman? I'm not sure because a lot of Rodgers' bread and butter these days is really working the underneath game with the running
Hmm.
backs, with the tight ends. And that was a big reason why DK Metcalf's numbers suffered. But on the flip side, Did DK Metcalf lose a step too? I think with Michael Pittman opposite of Metcalf, the potential's there for Pittsburgh's offense to be a lot less boring because the last couple of years watching Steeler games, you can fall asleep
It's
on the
fucking brutal.
couch.
Yeah.
It is brutal. It is brutal. But if I'm wrong about anybody, it's the Steelers. Because, Father Time discriminates against nobody. Even the great Tom Brady, finally, when Father Time got up to him, 8-9 in his final year, and he looked old. And he is old.
He didn't look
I think
old
it's.
until he went to Tampa.
I'm sorry. No, not when he started there.
Exactly.
But
He didn't look old when he went to Tampa.
yeah. But I think it's fair to say that Tampa just went for it all. They got him everything he could possibly need
Yeah.
because he essentially made a decision. I know that Belichick kind of wanted to move on, and they had a bit of a fractured relationship, and Kraft was kind of struggling with the coach and the legend going at it. They're both legends. But if you remember his final run in New England, they tried to soup up that team with Josh Gordon and AJ Brown, not AJ
Mm-hmm.
Brown, excuse me, Antonio Brown. But
Antonio.
they struck out on both of them. They both had off the field problems at the same time. I think Antonio Brown played one game with the Patriots. That's it. So Brady kind of got frustrated because I think Brady was at that age where he's like, "Hey, I took pay cuts my whole career. I did everything for the team. My wife's a supermodel. I'm not really tripping on the salary. But it's my time for everybody to just go get everything I want. Because the last time you
Mm-hmm.
guys did that, I was undefeated until the final minute of my season. So I get it. And it produced a championship in Tampa. Granted, they were only the wild card. Um,
Yeah.
so it's impressive. But back to the Rams, and we're kind of making references to other teams and just talking the history of it. But
Yeah, we're talking shit now.
I I don't feel that the Rams are going to have that same success. And you may very well laugh at me. That's okay.
I'm not
You
laughing.
know, we've been seeing teams that have had really bad droughts and streaks being rectified. And
Didn't I pick the Bengals and the Rams? Didn't I pick the Bengals and Rams to go to the Super Bowl that one year?
you did. You
You laughed
did.
at me and you laughed at me. Yeah. Could it happen again?
I mean, sure.
No, it's not going to happen again.
It could, but it's
No,
not.
it's not going to happen again. It's not going to happen again.
I'm going to say this right
No,
now. You
it's
know how that you asked
AFC.
me.
AFC is kind of wide open.
Yeah,
AFC is
you
wide
asked
open. I
me.
think.
You asked me.
What? What?
Yeah, you asked me who the better conference was. I'm going with the
Mm-hmm.
NFC right now, but
Yep.
I think Shed made a good point. We haven't done the West preview yet. We will. But Shed did make a good point off air that he thinks with the 49ers having to travel so many miles, it's going to be very challenging for an aging team. They're still good.
Mm-hmm.
I like them getting Mike Evans. I really like that pickup. I like them bringing back Debo. I think Debo is going to do good there. But it's a big ask. Kyle Shanahan's a hell of a coach. He always finds a way to beat the Rams at least once, even though the Rams have been better than the Niners the last couple of years. Seattle has finally caught up to the Niners where they're bullying them now. The Niners were bullying them for years. Seattle has finally got there. I don't think Seattle is one of these Super Bowl hangover teams. I really
Now,
think Seattle is the best team in the NFC. It doesn't
have you
mean they're going
watched?
to win it again.
Have you watched any of the Hard Knocks from Seattle yet?
Hard Knocks from Seattle. No, I have not.
Watch it.
Okay.
I don't think you'll be surprised at what they're doing. Everything of what you just said, I think you're spot on. I think they're on the same drive. They're on the same level that they were last year. The mentality's there, so it's just a matter of time for them. I
Now,
think they're a good football team, man. Plain and simple.
Now, of course, I didn't give my pick for the NFC West yet, but I think I've kind of made it clear that I'm leaning towards Seattle. Um,
Mm.
you know that I can't stand the Cowboys. However,
Yeah,
when I look at what this team did on the defensive side of the
they're go-
ball in the
they're gonna put up
draft,
points, dude. They're gonna put up
well, that's a
points.
given.
Period.
That's a given. But the
They're gonna
biggest
put up
issue with the
points.
Cowboys, well, that's a given. But the biggest issue with the Cowboys has been, can their defense match the offense? And when I look at, you get
Yeah.
Caleb Downs out of OSU, the best safety in the draft, possibly the best player in the draft. We'll see about that one. I think we got a great one in Arvell Reese. But and then you go and get Malachi Lawrence out of UCF, one of the more dynamic edge rushers in this draft. And
Hmm.
then you still go and get more cornerback help.
Hmm.
I think this team traded Micah Parsons at the right time, even though he was super popular. As much as I dislike the Dallas Cowboys,
No, I mean they had to free up. They had to free up the money, man. They had to free it up. Period.
no, absolutely, it was a wise trade, and I think Green
Yep.
Bay does good with him too. But I have a feeling that the Dallas Cowboys and the Seattle Seahawks might find themselves in the title game.
Ooh. Ooh. That's a bold one.
And you know it's coming from the most unbiased place
I know,
possible,
dude. I know. That's why it's fucking. What the
because
fuck?
I would love
You just
nothing
threw me
more than
off, man.
for the New York Giants to sneak in at 7
You
and beat
just
the
threw me
Cowboys.
off.
I would love nothing more than the New York Giants to
Uh,
be the 7 seed and beat the Cowboys in round 1. But I'm just
I
being honest.
I like what you're saying, and I would. I mean, it's hopeful, but you're talking about rookies. You're talking about
Yeah.
rookie edge rusher, a rookie corner, a rookie safety. You know, um, NFL's gonna eat them alive, dude. I don't think this year. I don't think it's gonna happen. Maybe 2 3 years down the road. Absolutely, I can see that.
But answer me
Um,
this. Answer me this 1 second.
but not now.
If I if I'm even remotely right about the Rams not being who everybody else thinks they're going to be, with the exception of the Seahawks, from a talent-based standpoint, who the hell's in the Cowboys' way?
Besides the Rams, the Seahawks.
And I already
Uh,
said that I think the
I
Rams
mean,
might be coming down a peg,
the
even with
Niners
Miles
are going to
Garrett.
be the Niners are going to be in contention.
Contention, but
Um,
yeah, like a playoff team. They ain't winning nothing this year.
they're still in contention though. Um, I
But I'm
wouldn't
saying,
take.
who's truly in their way to be an elite team in the NFC? You got Seattle as the champs. Okay, let's
Yeah.
say the Rams, whatever the Rams are, whether they're great or
Yep.
whether they're an underachiever, they're still going to be around.
Yep.
Do you believe in anybody in the North?
No.
I don't.
No. No,
And
I
I'm
don't.
and I know I probably pissed off a lot of people.
Or the South. The
No, hell
only
no.
I think the only team in the East is possibly Philly, and
Uh,
that's a short possibility.
I think losing
I
AJ
like
Brown is going to be.
I like their defense.
I don't love it.
Um,
They lost some pieces.
I still like their defense though.
They lost some pieces, and they lost AJ Brown. I
I
have a
know.
feeling that the I have a
Yeah,
feeling that
but
if the Giants,
AJ Brown was not a factor last year, and they still won
well,
games.
yeah, they also got
Still won games.
exited in the first. Yeah,
That I know,
but
but he wasn't a factor last year. Like it was the year before when he first came to the Eagles and they won that. Yeah, or no, I'm sorry, the year before that too.
no,
Um,
I get that. I get that. But what I'm saying is, if he wasn't a factor, is that the player, or is that the coaching? And I'm not going in on Aaron. I'm talking about losing
ah,
coordinators for Jalen.
yeah, yeah, I know.
And my thing that I'm saying is,
I still like their defense though. I don't know,
I don't.
but
I like.
offensive,
I'll tell you right now.
offensively, can they keep up with the Dallas? No, no.
No, and you
Um,
have to. I
can
don't.
they
I'm
keep
not
up?
even
Can
convinced,
they can they keep up with the Rams? No.
dude.
I think
Dude, I'll
I
be
think
honest with you.
I think San Fran can keep up with both those teams. So all three of those teams on NFC West, San Fran, the Rams, Seattle. I mean, they're all contenders to come out of that. division.
I
Come out of that
I think
conference. Period.
I think San Francisco's days of being a team that's going to win the conference are over. I think they're too old.
Mm.
I think their best case is a wild card like last year,
Well,
and
this is
they beat Philly.
their last year to do it. It's their
Well,
last fucking year to
Brock
do it.
Purdy's going to be around, but he's going to be doing it with different people because they are old. I
Oh, I know.
personally think you're looking at uh, Dallas is the favorite in the East as far as I'm concerned. I think they got the best roster,
Yeah.
possibly in the whole league. I'm not even joking. And but the question is Coach Schottenheimer the right coach? You know, that's a
Mm.
question. You know, but I was saying this to Idris recently. When you see a league that has less and less Super Bowl winning coaches, what does that tell you? It tells you that the coaches are getting younger
Yeah.
and the league is having turnover. You know, I personally think Dallas is winning the East, even though I can't stand them, nor can I stand the Eagles. I got the Giants finishing second in the division
Mm.
this year. I think the Eagles are going to, and this is interesting. I think the Eagles and the 49ers are going to find themselves fighting for the final spot. What makes this even more juicy, the Giants play the Eagles in the last game of the season in MetLife Stadium. And I do believe that last year's Giant victory over the Eagles, albeit it was midway through the season and they played 2 weeks later, and that's the Scatabo game where he got hurt. I believe
Mm.
that the Giants are no longer afraid of the Eagles or mentally screwed up with the Eagles. And I think that goes such a long way. I think the biggest thing for the Eagles this year, Brett, is if Saquon Barkley is going to be able to return to the guy he was in 2024, because he's going to have to. Because Mekhi Lemon, I get it. He's your stud receiver out of college, but there's a lot of learning the ropes there. And then you got Devontae Smith without AJ. Can Devontae really be a number one receiver? I'm not sure. Dallas Goedert's getting older. They did draft a tight
See?
end. Yeah, I think this could be the year that the Eagles slip out of the playoffs or just run out of juice where they're not a contender. I think it's the Rams, the Cowboys, the Seahawks, and dare I say, this might be the far reach. I think the Vikings.
Listen, I hate to cut this short, even though we've only been on here for an hour and a half. But my phone's at like 4%. It's gonna die real quick.
Well, I'm at 5, so let's wrap this baby up.
There we go.
For our final predictions for the AFC East, Brett and I both agree the New England Patriots will be winning this division with a record of 11-6. Brett has the Bills missing the playoffs at 10-7. I have them making it at 10-7. And between the Dolphins and the Jets, it's going to be misery central. The fight for Arch Manning is on, and I do think that if the Jets get the number one pick, the Manning family will pull a Eli 2.0 and make sure that he don't go to the Jets. Stay tuned. It's the AFC East preview. Quick word right before we get out of here. Giants family lost a really awesome fan, as did the Knicks family. Just a sad situation. Friend of the show, Eric Papa Rock Perez. This final outro is for you. And rest in peace, Herb Campbell.
Shout out to Pops.
Yeah, shout out to Pops for sure. Yesterday was 9 years. He's Brett. I'm Richie. We're out. Please enjoy this outro video. Rest in peace, King Apocalypse. He will be on Old Man Energy Volume 3 with Idris. We out.
Even though there's no bad weather in
I'm old school cowabunga, up and down the strip, fuck the tourists all summer. Little black book full of hella hoes numbers. The motherfucking original bad bitch hunter. Came from hot winners, cops and block spinners. Old Huntersville with the dime sack winners. Blunt spillers, the puff givers. Years later reminiscing still gives us shivers. The rhythm I deliver for my niggas, I'm uncanny. When I'm on stage, they rub titties and throw panties. A big pun should've won the Grammy in Miami. Big truck Jews with the skulls carved in the swammy. Hold my umbrella, twin, let me rain on this fella. Marinara sauce, I melt his mozzarella. The block dweller, the moldy seller, the weed seller. I still knock the glass slippers off Spinderella. Go getter, I let her the hardest ledger. Y'all niggas forced to dump down, I get better and better. Till that thing squirt the bed wetter. Wheel up, selector, ease up and better.
Yeah, this is the best.
They're talking much up here. Oh, yes, they are.
No, they're not. No, they're not.
They are.
No, they're
Yo,
not.
my mind symphonies on infinite epiphanies. Maintain the liquor when around where the bitches be. Street ministry, I hold church here lyrically. I tell bars, I heal my scars spiritually. King tyranny, my reign was your misery. Pain on your brain, the strain was rap history. Let me find out somebody chat about a victory. Brock with the Glock, little viciously. Freak them a pepper seed. I preach the word from a book they can never read.